Manu, Excellencies and friends, I'm the odd man out. What is a guy in broadcasting culture doing here? Now, I'll put it this way. You've been told or been requested to do a lot of things for India, I'm sure, because we've been preparing those background papers. I'm here to ask, not to ask you for anything more. I'm here to tell you where we goofed up. We have a specialized art in goofing up. I don't know how much is being recorded. We have, I spent about 40 years now in public service, whatever that is. And I would be able to maintain an arm's length from a lot of things. I have a senior colleague sitting here. So what I would put it is one of the constant complaints, if I may put it, demands of the NRI community, PIOs, is why on earth can't we connect except during winter? Why can't we hear our old songs there direct from India, not through agents and operators? See, one of the reasons for this obsession with Hindi songs, as we put it, and I have an article up on the web also on this, is that the emotional unity of India actually arose from what we call the Hindi cinema. There's no doubt about it. I'm supposed to be a cultural Sanskritist. I'm supposed to keep an arm's length from all this. But let me tell you that make no bones about it. If India is today emotionally united, it was physically united by just about 3 emperors in 2,000 years. 2,500 years, we had 3 emperors who could get them physically together. So put together it's not more than 150 years. But it's emotionally, and by the time the British left India, we've got physical unity through the railway line, the telegraph, the common English language, through an opposition to English rule, through cantonments, and lots of other things. We had a physical unity, but those who are older than me would realize that we were referring to each other as different nations. Wo Madrasi hai, Punjabi hai, that sort of thing. It all came through, and I have an article on that which I'll provide to Manu, and he can sort of circulate it, how the emotional unity arose from the idea of India, or the reality of India. Now the question is, why can't I hear that? 20 years ago, I was prepared to listen to a lot of cock and bull story as to why we can't give it to you. But now I'm not going to listen. So one of the first things that and I'll be mentioning it every forum, and our ministers will also be doing so, that we have, as of today, it was done for the occasion of Prasar Bharati, put Vivid Bharati on the net. That's one achievement, and we'll give you the details. Whichever part of the globe will be able to access Vivid Bharati. That's the culture channel that we had on the radio. The second question is, why can't we get Indian news neutral? What on earth does neutral news mean? Those of you who had to go through the period of convulsions that India went through in the last 3 years would know that while one is revolted with the amount of tightening of the bureaucracy, the insensitiveness of certain things, the Delhi rape case and others, the Commonwealth Games, they were equally revolted with the presentation that it was made abroad. There are things where the family can sit together and thrash it out. Now this arises out of the fact that the private media is TRP driven. It has to generate something or the other. I'm working with them now for 3 years. Their compulsions and our stability are on 2 different platforms. No one is morally superior to the other. They have their business to do, rake up everything and show it, irrespective of the fact whether let us say, a sensationalized version harms the image of India or not. I was told by horrified diplomats, by horrified friends that, look, stop it, we have seen it enough. But then they have the compulsion and they project that news. As you know, till today, AIR, All India Radio's news, is still considered to be something of a mini BBC here, something of a BBC here. People listen to it for the neutrality, and I would submit that one is working rather hard to maintain that neutrality, very hard. On the television also, the news that DD presents is normally taken as a much more stable version of what the others present. So it's our duty to put across this, and there's no way, since we don't have a 24-hour news channel in the radio, we have just put FM Gold and FM Rainbow. Now the effect of it is that anyone who listens to FM Gold would be getting 2 hours of news coming in. The next question is, how do I defer it, or how do I do it in such a way that you get to hear it when you want to? It's just an application. So we'll have to work on that. Now these are some of the things one has to be able to do in trying to connect, because I was working on something called mysteriously soft power and stuff like that for the last 10 years, 9 years. But we were all talking in cocktail terms. Nothing was moving forward. The fact that somebody in England likes your chicken tikka curry doesn't make him any more closer to you where the real functions and events are concerned. Let's face facts. So it's all right. I mean, like, you've been able to get across. So what we need to get across is projection. So I have just started by saying 2 or 3 small things we have been able to do on radio. And so as a classic case, this was a post for 2.5 years. On the ground that we would have to pay through our nose for the music copyright. I rammed it through like a truck. Our bills have gone up by 15%. Revenues will go up. So it's just a way of thinking that occupies India. The fear of jumping into the water. You much rather debate on the banks of the river rather than take a plunge. Where I would request you to consider is on television. On television, we have been able to, shall I tell you, I don't know how much is supposed to be confidential, but never mind. We have actually been pumping up TV news and other things up on the satellite, I call it the balloon. Someone forgot to take it down. And we paid mighty number of, a lot of money for it. And this goes on mindlessly for several years. And everything's hunky-dory. Parliament, you report, you have pumped up so much news, you just forget to report that nobody is looking at you. That's it. That's it. So what we did was, we found that this was just not going to work. Because once you uplink on a television, you need a national downlink. Somebody has to downlink it for you and pump it into your cable sets. That's it. This isn't rocket science, but I don't know why some of my friends don't understand it. What we did was, we kept that on hold. It cost me 40 crores a year only to send signals up. And we made a straight deal with a European nation, I'll be frank, with the Germans. They wanted 1 slot on our satellite. We said, give us 1 slot on yours. They said, we don't own a satellite. I said, you still have satellites. I can't get in there. So what they did was, they took one of the most advanced satellites of Europe called Euro Hotbird 13 and got us a slot there. We gave them a slot here. So as I'm talking to you, we are preparing for the last 4 months our downlink into Europe through the Euro Hotbird 13 satellite, which gets into 120 million households. How many households will see us depends on, is rather archaic. I shouldn't be saying it, but it's fact. So we're willing to come in for back-to-back partnerships with others who have better content, or more attractive content. In other words, all I'm saying is that we move away from being a content provider to a carriage provider. That's another thing. We just hit jackpot in Ottawa recently. We got one of the Indian cable TV providers, or Asian cable TV providers for a link with us, which permits us. So they wanted linkage. We have no direct linkage with Canada, so I bounce the signals off to Israel. The Israeli satellite is going there. So we are sending a lot of free stuff there. That is the sort of thing I would love to have ideas from you or your friends. If you find a willing operator on the Asian platform and he's willing, we are not here to sell our stuff. We are here to send our stuff. I know what I'm saying is going to get me to audit paras. We well after all. It comes in. If you haven't done. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, do you know the biggest outstanding audit para in India? You know what an audit para means? It's an audit department's criticism that whatever you have done the wrong thing. You better say no. Sorry. The biggest audit para in India is called the Taj Mahal. It maintained no accounts. That's it. It went overboard. The Mughal Empire's finances were drained out. The father was getting extravagance, so son puts him into jail and stuff like that. But remember, that extravagance has given us the only memorial for which India is automatically known. So there are issues beyond the rule book. As long as your heart is clean, there are issues beyond the rule book. So let me recap. I look after the public broadcaster, which has about 480 stations. I'll be honest with you, I carry 2 mobiles. So when somebody is complaining about something about one radio station, I Google it to find out where on earth is it. So otherwise you don't know, 480 children are too many to remember. So I'll just let you on to a secret. But that produces content that has held India together. That brought India together. We are there from Kargil, that's the northern cold heights, up to Tan Nicobar, which is somewhere near Indonesia. We're the only guys present there. We don't operate for profit. So, in the coming together of the idea of India, what played a role, as I repeat, was Hindi film songs, and later on, the television recitals of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the whole lot. So that is where we fit in. Now we need a new role, or we can sort of delete about ourselves. That's another option, always open. The new role is to reach out on behalf of the central idea of India, without being either parochial, pompous, shove it down stuff. We aren't that. We are perhaps only non-aggressive people accepting within the nation. But we are an open economy, an open country. We fight like, squabble like normal human beings. It comes out of the public domain. We would love to present the picture of this plural India, this very variated India, this India for variety, this India for much. So for that, any idea, this was one NRI friend in Canada who proposed across dinner, and that's why we have it in the eastern part. If someone else comes up with a good business proposition, never mind, the cost of sending the signal over is on me. As long as you can get to see something that Indians see in India without any sensationalism, exaggeration, and not boring either. That's it. With these words, I leave you and thank you very much for your patience.